there's been a lot of emphasis on covering what's happened with Duterte and the drug war, but not so much the government's war against environmental activists. The one report by Global Witness says that 30 people have been killed since Duterte became president, environmental activists, about 20% of all the environmental activists killed across the world.
Yeah, the reality is that the Philippines is still very rich in natural resources. And again, this is stories we've heard in the north, but also from indigenous communities in the south, in Mindanao, where it's still under martial law. And what we have is, whereas a lot of communities have already been devastated by logging corporations and agribusiness who are, utilizing their fertile land. Now, many multinationals, mining corporations are really looking to push them out of their ancestral domain so that they can take the natural resources from the ground. And so, as a result, like Supervisor Matt Haney said, anyone who stands in their way is harassed, intimidated, or outright massacred. We've heard this representatives from indigenous communities throughout Mindanao. We've heard this from school communities, students and teachers who are being forcibly evacuated from their schools because the government does not want them to learn how to read, how to write, how to stand up for their rights. It's not just environmentalists, but other human rights defenders and anyone who's organizing for their rights in the Philippines.
So this is in a context in which Brandon has been deeply involved in fighting for the rights of indigenous people in the Philippines, human rights, defending their natural resources, particularly against a proposed dam in the area where he works. And he and his colleagues and his friends feel very confidently that this was from elements connected to the Philippine government. The police have told the family that they believe that it was Brandon's friends that actually did this, which is an absurd thing from what we saw and everyone we talked to. So he's still very much
I want to turn to Brandon in his own words. I mean, this is over a year ago. In a video message released in July 2018, of course, before the assassination attempt, he talked about the threats and harassment he and his colleagues were confronting.
Hello, my name is Brandon Lee. I'm a volunteer at the Ifugao Peasant Movement, IPM. For us, we have been harassed, intimidated, threatened, with death threats, vilified, red tagged, under surveillance constantly since 2010. This has a lot of it has to do with us defending the land, life, and resources of indigenous
So that's Brandon Lee over a year ago, before he was shot. Raquel Redondiez, you went on this fact-finding mission with Supervisor Matt Haney and others. You were a close friend of Brandon Lee. If you can talk about what he put out right before the assassination attempt. He was already saying he was targeted and who he was targeted by and for what.
Yes, even in the weeks leading up to the attempted assassination, he had emailed some of his friends in San Francisco and told us that he was being visited at his home, at his workplace by the military or paramilitary forces. And, he was very concerned about this. They were even asking about his daughter. And so this is, something he, as Matt said, he's been facing harassment, intimidation, even death threats for several years now for his work organizing amongst the indigenous communities in the Cordilleras.